What's up, guys? My name is PJ, and today I am going to talk to you about being present and the importance of being present in 2021 and really the years to follow as well. So, first, I'm going to talk to you about why being present is key and kind of what my thoughts are on it. And then, secondly, I'm going to talk to you about some of the benefits that I have received from being present in my own life and share those with you, as I believe they will also be applicable to your life and your experience. And in this third section of the video, I'm going to talk to you about how you can begin to implement a practice into your life in order to bring being present more and more into your life. So I will share a daily practice in that section, and then after that I will share some resources with you that I believe could help you on this journey of wanting to become more present in your day-to-day life. And in the very last section of the video, I will talk to you about why I think being present is of the utmost importance in 2021. Let's begin by talking about why I believe being present is helpful and so crucial in our life. So I believe that being present is absolutely natural. It's just that we have become accustomed to living in unnatural ways. And what are those ways? Being disconnected, distracted, completely just kind of checked out of being able to be aware to our own thoughts, to our own being, what we're feeling, what we're thinking, and we're so outward focused that we don't see and feel really clearly what's going on in here. So being present is natural, but because we live in an unnatural way, disconnected from nature, which in nature everything is connected to the present moment, because in nature there's this awareness that only this moment exists. Like animals, our pets, the reason that we feel such a great affinity for them is that they are always in the present moment. They're always in the here and now. And so they serve as a reminder and a gateway for us into that way of being. Like your cat and dog doesn't know anything but this moment. It's just here right now, and it's here with you, and there's nothing else that it would rather be doing than to spend this time with you right here and right now. So that's what they bring into our lives, that brings such a feeling of love really into our being. So being present is key, and some of the benefits that I have received from being present in my own life is that the first and foremost benefit that I believe you can experience as well is that when you are present in this moment, you actually are able to see the situations in your life as they are versus the situation and then my story and my thoughts and all of these worries and anticipations and X, Y, and Z added to the situation itself. So when you are present, you're actually able to see the situation for what it is. Don't see it any worse than it is. Don't see it any better than it is, but really what it is. And therefore, you're able to come up with actual solutions to the situation, solutions that are required for the situation in a way that would resolve it in the most easeful, the most effective, and really the best way to address it. So when we are present to all the options that we have, to what the situation is, and what is required of us to do in this moment. And so the right actions will get appeared to us in this present moment. So let's use a practical example. So let's look at a job loss, for example. When you're losing a job or you've lost a job recently, there's a situation at hand. But our mind, when it becomes our master and it controls us versus us being in control of our mind, in control of our thoughts, and in control of our attention and our awareness, when the mind is in control of us, then panic sets in, fear sets in, all the stories associated to the situation set in, versus us being able to see the situation clearly as it is, without our stories, without all of our additions and worries and panics added to it. So the situation is as it is, and the solutions to it will be revealed to us. The best way to go about resolving it will be revealed to us when we are present We are in this moment. We are connected to our breath. We are connected to the present moment. In this moment, we will receive guidance as to what are the best ways to move forward from here and see the situation for what it is and our solutions to it more clearly. When the mind is in control of us, it very quickly can continue to craft up more stories as how this will ruin your life, destroy you, it's just the most horrible thing, da 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 da. And very quickly you will find yourself going down a downward spiral. And that's why you don't want your mind to be in charge of you, but you want you, the decision maker, to be in charge of your mind and in charge of your attention and awareness and becoming a sovereign being and choosing where to put your attention, where to put your focus, and what thoughts to think, and therefore consequently what emotions to experience as it relates to the situation. So that's point number one. When you are present, the benefit, one of the most important benefits that you receive when you are present is that you are able to see situations more clearly, see the solutions more clearly, see the options clearly, and see things for what they are versus the stories that we make up about what they are, whether good or bad. We see them not worse than they are, nor better than they are, but what as they are. So that's tip number one, or benefit number one, I should say, as to what you will receive when you are present. The second benefit that you could experience when you are present and present consistently is that you begin to feel more connected to your higher self, to your true self, to your original self. And that higher self aspect of us, it's always at peace, it's always limitless, it's always abundant, it's always holy, it's always healed, it's always complete. It's never lacking anything. It's always complete, full, has everything it needs, and it's completely fulfilled. And so when we connect to that on a consistent basis, through being present, through being connected to our breath, over time, those qualities that our higher self possesses and are natural to its essence, those qualities start to also rub off on us. It's kind of like when you have a friend and you spend a lot of time with them, it's like the qualities that that friend possesses also start rubbing off on you. So if they're really funny, they're really witty, or whatever qualities they have, you start catching yourself being more like that. At least that's what happens for me. So it's kind of like the same thing with your higher self. It's like you have to see that as a best friend that you spend a lot of time with through being present. That's the way that we spend time with it. The more we spend time with it, the more the qualities that it possesses also become ours. Now, we don't want to go around and fake being like our higher self and fake being peaceful, fake being, just having no needs, limitless, abundant, all those things, all those qualities that our higher self naturally possesses. We don't want to fake those, but we want to naturally and genuinely connect to those through connecting to our higher self, through being present, and have those rub off on us, because in truth, those are our qualities as well. Our true self is our true self, as the name implies. So it's who we really are. It's just that we have all this conditioning and programming and belief structures, belief systems that are against that naturalness. And so we have to overcome all that conditioning, all that programming that tells us otherwise, that we're not worthy, that we're not loved, and instead lean into the present moment, get close to our true self, and have that time spent with our true self shed all those layers, all those programmings that are not ours. The conditioned mind, which is what we feel and experience throughout our day-to-day life when we're not connected to the present moment, that conditioned mind, it might as well be called the conditioned by the past mind, because that's all it is. It's basically everything we have learned, everything we have gained from society's programmings, our culture, our parents, extended family, everything, all that stuff, all that becomes part of our conditioning, our programming, our being. And all these beliefs, all these ways of being, all these habits, all these tendencies, they become a part of us as well, or part of our false self, I should say. And so, in order to shed them and return back to our natural essence, we have to be present, spend time with our true self, our natural self, our original self, and through that connect more and more to who we truly are. The conditioned mind, as the name implies, it's conditioned and it's very limited in what it knows because it's limited to the past. It's only limited to what it has experienced and what has been programmed into it. So it doesn't see beyond its own limitations. It only knows the limited programs that it has. It's like an iPod that has been programmed with certain songs and it only has those. But if that iPod, and I'm talking about the old iPods, if that iPod could connect to the internet, then the internet in this metaphor would be our higher self. Then it would see all these potentials, all these songs that also exist that it didn't have access to in the past. So it becomes and accesses a much greater library of potentials, of things that it could potentially play and listen to, etc. in that example. So it's the same thing for us. When we connect to our higher self through being present, we access higher potentialities that we didn't see before. And through accessing them, through following the guidance that spirit, our higher self, gives us, then we are able to actualize those potentialities. But had we just followed our conditioned mind, then we would only be limited to perpetuating potentialities that have already been actualized in our life based on our past and based on what we've known. So we're only going to perpetuate our past. Our future is just going to be an extension of our past and a reflection of it, not something different from it, a greater potentiality of it. And that only becomes possible through accessing greater knowledge, greater wisdom, greater understanding, which is access and gain through our higher self. So that is the second, and in my opinion, the most important benefit that we will receive from being present more consistently throughout our life. So how do we get present? You're like, okay, I'm sold. You've convinced me, this is a thing I want to try out. How do I begin? So the first thing that I recommend for you, and this is what I did, is to set aside, preferably in the morning before you jump into your day, set aside a 20-minute window of time where there are no distractions, no disturbances, nothing that can intrude upon your peace in that moment. So you want to completely have that be secluded and sacred and protected from any sort of influences that could disturb that peace. You want to set that aside. You want to set a timer, like I said, preferably for 20 minutes on your phone, and just sit in the present moment. Just sit and just be aware. Some people would call that meditation. I sometimes find it more helpful to just call it being aware, or just remind myself, just be aware. Because when I say that, just be aware, it like immediately brings me to the present moment. Just be aware of the sounds, be aware of the sights, the feeling of my feet touching the ground, the sensation of breath going in and out. Some people recommend that you pay attention to your breath. So you focus your attention, which is really, attention is like focused awareness, that you focus that awareness on the breath, the inflow and the outflow of your breath. And that would be traditional meditation. But for me, it's just like becoming aware of everything, anything that's going on, the sounds outside, the feeling of my feet, the sensations of my body just sitting here on the chair, like just feeling and becoming aware of that. That to me, at this point in my life, after having meditated for a while, it is what brings me back to that state immediately. So I like to think of being aware a lot, and I am just being in this moment right here, right now. I am just being. That alone can be so transformative. And again, like I said, some people would call that meditation, but you don't have to. You can just call it just being, but you just want to make sure that you carve out that time and space, and that you give this a try for at least 3 months. Don't expect any results, don't expect any outcome, don't expect any transformation until that 3 months, honestly, even 4 month period. Because it was really after 4 months for me personally. I'm not saying this is going to be the case for you. Some people may meditate once and just feel amazing effects, and I'm sure you may as well. But for me, it was really after that 4 month mark of meditating every day, doing this practice every day, that I started seeing massive shifts in my life, and amazing transformations began to take place inside of me. And at the beginning, this practice may seem very difficult. This should be natural, but like I said, we've been programmed to do what is unnatural and do it so often that what is unnatural has become natural for us. It's natural to be distracted, to be completely all over the place, not able to focus our attention. Those things have become natural for us. But what's natural is to be in the only moment, the only place that exists, the only place that you can be. You can only be here right now. You can't be anywhere else. It's just our thoughts that go everywhere else. But us, our physicality, we can only be here in this one place at one time. So being here is natural. It's all we could do. It's to just be here. But we have become accustomed to doing the unnatural and thinking that's natural. So what's unnatural has become natural, and what is natural has become unnatural. But at the beginning, like I said, expect this. You could possibly expect this to be difficult. It probably is going to be difficult for most of us. I know for me, it was very challenging and very difficult. The first 7 days in particular were very challenging for me to do. But just don't fight it. Just expect that it's going to be that way. And just compare it to any other thing that you've had to learn that took you a while, like riding a bicycle, like playing an instrument of any sort, learning any skill. I've been really listening to a lot of content about jiu-jitsu. I'm probably going to take up some classes, but I've done martial arts before, and it's the same thing in martial arts. And jiu-jitsu, I'm sure it's the same way. It's the beginning parts that are very challenging and difficult because you're doing something new, something that you're not accustomed to. But when you do that more often and more frequently, and you show up day in and day out, then that thing that was at first very unnatural, very uncomfortable, starts not only becoming comfortable but also enjoyable. And I'm sure that that's something that you will experience as you do this practice, this meditation practice, if you want to call it that, or just this practice of being aware to what is right here, right now. As you do this more often, it will become not only more comfortable, but also more enjoyable. So some resources that I recommend that you check out to go in conjunction with this practice, and some resources just as it relates to being more present that I believe could help you. They are as follows. The first thing that I want to recommend, this is something that really made an impact in my life, and I've talked about it a bunch on my channel. That is a practice called Qigong. Qigong is a form of martial arts. It's a very chill, calm martial arts, you can say. And it helps you connect your mind and your body, your movement to your breath, your attention to basically the movement that you're doing, and the chi that is flowing through your body. Chi is bioelectricity, it's life force energy. And so learning how to connect your attention to the movement, it's a very transformational thing that can occur also through yoga. I'm sure, I know a lot of people who practice yoga regularly experience the same thing. But for me, Qigong is really what brought that about. And so if you want to actually check it out, we have a free exercise that me and my Qigong teacher have put together. You can check out in the link to that exercise. It's a free exercise. You can check that link out in the description. And I'm sure that will be very, very helpful in conjunction to these practices that we're learning here, this 20 minutes sitting and just being. So check that out if this is something that interests you. And also I have more videos, actually it'll go up here, more videos on Qigong. I'll tag one or maybe a playlist of them up here. So check that out as well if you're interested. The second things that I want to recommend are actually two of my own videos that I have made in the past, and I think they will go really well in conjunction with the material that we're talking about today. So the first one, it's called Getting Present Through the Body. And it's basically kind of like what I learned about how we can use our body and becoming aware of our body as a gateway into the present moment. So check that video out. Again, it will go up there, the link. You can check that out, also in the description. And secondly, I want to recommend my most popular video on this channel called The Letting Go Technique Explained by Dr. Dave, or The Letting Go Technique by Dr. David R. Hawkins Explained, parentheses, How to Handle Emotions. That video and that technique really helps you become aware and present to your emotions and what you're feeling in this moment, which is so crucial. And I'm so glad that that video has become so popular, because it is truly transformational to practice that, to practice being aware to what you're feeling, because it's part of the present moment. Your emotions, your thoughts, all these things are part of the present moment. So you want to practice becoming aware to them, because if you're practicing becoming aware, you also are becoming aware to the emotions, to the thoughts, to what you're feeling in this moment. So check that video out. Also will be linked up there. So check that out, also in the description. Lastly, I would like to recommend 3 books. First is the book that I learned meditation from, and it's kind of an unexpected book, but it's called Success Through Stillness by Russell Simmons, the founder of Def Jam label, which is one of the most famous rap labels. And I was very much into hip hop. And so to find a meditation book from a hip hop legend was just like, what? Like, what? This guy meditates? And so I read that book, and his approach really resonated with me. And that is ultimately the book that helped me start a meditation practice consistently. So check that book out if this resonates with you, and maybe you can just find some videos of him on YouTube first, check those out, some podcast interviews, and then if you resonate with him and his approach, then maybe check the book out. Secondly, I want to talk about the most popular book when it comes to being present, and that is The Power of Now. You may have heard of it. It's by a gentleman named Eckhart Tolle, who to me completely exudes and embodies and exhibits what it means to be present and live in the present moment. So The Power of Now was my first introduction to the present moment and the importance of it and the value of it. And it took me kind of years to really just live the present moment awareness kind of way of being, and be present, and see the benefits of it for myself. And in conjunction with that, this is kind of the third book, is a book that was, I think, shortly released after The Power of Now, and it's called Practicing the Power of Now. And as the name implies, it includes a lot of practices that would go really well with The Power of Now. So if The Power of Now resonated with you, then check that other book out as well. Lastly, let's talk about why I think it is so important for us to be present in 2021 throughout our days, and also all the years to follow. Well, the reason is very simple, and that is we are living in such unprecedented times where we are experiencing more change on a day-to-day basis than we've ever felt before. More things are shifting and changing in the world, and as they change in the world, they also change in our life. So life circumstances may be changing all the time. Situations may happen where you're left without a job, or your health is faltering in some shape or form, and you kind of feel like the rug is pulled out from underneath you. And so these experiences, these times that we're living in right now, really require us to bring a new way of being in our day-to-day lives. And being present helps us handle and navigate changes. When so many things are changing, we have to be flexible in our approach. And if we're holding too tightly to how things have been, that conditioned mind approach, the past, we're going to have a really difficult time navigating this. But if we're present, we can see situations as they clearly are, as I mentioned in the first part of this video, and we can see our solutions and our approach more clearly forward. Another thing, which goes back to the second benefit that I mentioned in the first part of the video, is that when we are present, we are more connected to guidance, to higher intelligence. We are connected to the mind of God, if you will, to higher intelligence, to infinite intelligence. And we can attune ourselves to hear that guidance. And the way we attune ourselves is that we are present. And as we are present, the quieter we become, as Ram Dass said, the quieter we become, the more we can hear. And so it's like when we turn down the volume on that conditioned mind, the volume of our spirit or our higher self goes higher and goes louder. So that higher self more clearly is not only communicating to us, it really is communicating to us all the time. It's just that our mind is so loud that we don't hear it. But it's communicating to us, and we become a more receptive channel for that guidance. And these guidances are going to help us navigate all this change in our life. It's a guidance that is coming from way beyond our own understanding, and it can help us see and seize potentialities that are much greater. They provide better solutions to whatever challenges we are facing, and they are beyond our own intelligence and what we have experienced in the past based on our conditioned mind. Like I said, our conditioned mind is very limited to what it knows, to the potentialities that it sees exist. But our higher self is connected to infinite consciousness, infinite potentials, and it can lead us more clearly and more effectively to better destinations for us. Destinations that are truly suited for our hearts, our highest good, for our highest potentials, our highest possibilities. And when we follow that, we are led into a world and a life beyond our wildest imaginations, a life that is much more fulfilling, much more fun to live in and be in and experience, and one that within it we clearly feel like we're fulfilling our function, we're fulfilling the purpose that we were designed for. And through doing so, we are not only incredibly helpful to others and feel like we're truly serving a purpose, but through that, as a consequence of that, we are truly happy and fulfilled. And also doing so, connecting to spirit, makes us feel whole and connected and healed and complete in here. So we start not needing as much from the outside for it to go a certain way for us to be happy, for us to be fulfilled. We have learned how to source our happiness and our fulfillment internally by connecting to spirit through presence, through being present, through being here in this present moment, being aware and being connected to our breath, following our own guidance, and we are led into a reality beyond our own wildest imaginations, a life that is much more fun, much more fulfilling to live, and a life of service and satisfaction that is beyond our greatest, imagination. So it's just so impactful, so powerful, so life-changing to connect to our higher self, but we have to trust it when it speaks to us. The guidance that it gives us in presence, when we're present and we receive guidance, we have to trust it because it's leading us to new possibilities that we don't know of, but we're simultaneously releasing what's holding us down. So all we're seeing and perceiving is what we're releasing, but we're not perceiving and seeing what we're gaining. It's like a delayed response. So we're perceiving loss, but we don't see what we're about to gain. It's like, you know how when they want to build a new building in a location where already another building exists, they have to like tear down the other one, whether they like make it explode or take it down in some shape or form, but they have to take it down in order for a new one to be built there, right? So we see what's getting destroyed, what's getting released, what's getting taken out of our lives, but we don't yet see what is being built. This new building yet is not built. It's going to take some time because in this physical reality, it's like a lower vibration, so everything takes a little bit longer to physicalize. But we have to believe it first, believe the spirit enough to release what is no longer meant for us and perceive that that is for our highest good, and then we will receive what is actually for our highest good. But we have to believe in order for us to receive that which is for our highest destiny and highest good. So it's just such a joyride to follow Spirit, but it's not always fun, but it's always fulfilling. It's not fun because we have to overcome our conditioning, our programming, but it's fun. It's not easy because we have to overcome those, but it's fun because of what it leads us into, and ultimately it leads us into a life that is more reflective of the true qualities of the Spirit, which I mentioned earlier, like peace, fulfillment, wholeness, healedness, completeness, limitlessness, all those things, oneness. Our life in the physical will start to reflect those qualities as well as we follow the guidance of Spirit. So with these changing times, with all the stuff that's changing in the world, we are actually smarter to follow a Spirit that knows infinite potentialities than our own limited knowledge and understanding. Because our limited knowledge and understanding has never been in this train, so it doesn't even know what it's trying to do and explore. It doesn't even know what options are available. But Spirit knows all the options. Our higher self knows all the options. So when we listen to that and we follow that, then like I said, we're like stepping into the Wizard of Oz world, or like Narnia, or Willy Wonka at Chocolate Factory. It's a world beyond our wildest dreams, but it's going to be a world that is the most fulfilling to be in for us. So it's just super crucial to follow the Spirit, and ultimately what we want to do with being present, by being present on a consistent day-to-day basis, what we want to do is that we want to submit our mind, in a sense, to our will, so that it follows our guidance and our decisions and our choices. And it's like a pet that's being trained to follow the guidance and the instructions of its owner. And then it becomes a faithful pet that serves the will, so to speak, of its owner. And we want to do the same thing with our mind, and we do so by being present. When we're present, we become aware to what we're thinking. We become aware that we have choice and options, and that we get to choose what we believe and what we think, versus our mind automatically and autopilot running us and directing us wherever it wants to take us. And oftentimes, like I said, that conditioned mind is not even our thoughts. It's programmed into us by others, by society, by people with great intentions, but who are not familiar with your own unique life, destiny, and path that you are here to live. So how can they give you the absolute best guidance when they're not you? No one's going to be you. But higher self knows you better because it helped create you. And so when you follow the guidance of that, you follow the guidance of your designer and the manufacturer, and you are led to your highest, best outcomes. And so we're training our mind, we're training our attention, which, as I said, it's focused awareness. Awareness to me is like this infinite field. Like when I think of being aware, I think about being aware of everything that is here right now that's going on, the senses, the smell, my thoughts, my emotions. But attention is like focused awareness. So I'm bringing that awareness, that wholeness, and I'm focusing it into one, kind of like the sunlight and a magnifying glass. You know how a magnifying glass focuses the wholeness that is the sunlight into like one point, and it becomes so powerful. Our attention is like the same way. So being able to learn through presence how to control our attention is consequently going to help us control and navigate our life. Because if we don't do that, other people will happily, and not just other people, but other programs and emotions like fear and panic will happily take the place of the gap that is left open by the lack and absence of stillness and presence. And we don't want those emotions, those conditionings to master us. We want to be a master of our own domain and control our attention and our focus and our life force, really, because where attention goes, energy flows. In Qigong, which is what I practice, my teacher always says, where attention goes, Qi goes. And Qi is life force, it's bioelectricity. So learning through presence how to control your attention is literally controlling your life. And it's better to have the reins in your own hand than in your conditioning in the past in program. So I hope that this video helps you. My only intention was to help you And believe it or not, this is the second time I'm shooting this video because the first time I forgot to hit record on the audio. So thankfully, I had just spent an hour talking about being present. So I took my own advice, took some deep breaths, brought myself back to presence, and realized all is well. God's got me. We're good. We're gonna make it again, and it's gonna be better. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully this material resonated with you, and you took something away from it. But more importantly, I hope that it encouraged and inspired you to put this practice into your life, this meditation practice, this being here, being aware practice into your life, because that's ultimately what's going to change your life, not anything, that I said. It's the practice that's going to lead to transformation, and that's what I hope for you. So thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. That's going to help other people see it. It's going to help YouTube's algorithm show it to other people. And if you want to see more videos from me and stay up to date with my videos, please subscribe to my channel, as that will also help YouTube show my videos to you on your homepage in YouTube. So thank you. I hope you enjoyed this. And lastly, like I said, make sure to check out the link in the description to check out the free Qigong exercise that my Qigong teacher and I have put together for you if you are interested in learning how to not only control your attention, but allow a beautiful connection to form between your body and your movement and your breath. Qigong provides that, and if you want to learn more about it, check out the link in the description and that free exercise. Again, lastly, my name is PJ. Thank you for watching this video and hope that it was helpful. See you guys in the next video.